Hi, I'm CJ Elmerick with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Fredrick, Colorado. We have got a brand new Cimarron 2-horse gooseneck sitting behind us here. If you're needing a runaround trailer, maybe you got a big, LQ or a big trainer trailer, or you're just wanting a premier product in a 2-horse gooseneck, this is it. This is the 2026 Cimarron Norstar 2-horse gooseneck. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at the drawing. I wanna show you some specs, how this trailer's laid out. This trailer is 14.5 foot on the floor, so you want to talk about a compact trailer, ease of getting around in and out of about most places. This is it. Standard width 6'10 wide, standard height 7'1 tall, and then we've got a front tack room on this guy. This guy here will come in no more than 3,800 pounds empty. So most of your half-ton pickups, especially your new ones, are going to be rated for this. So great setup. Again, really easy to use, easy to maneuver trailer. With this Cimarron, you're being all aluminum construction. You're going to get an 8-year structure warranty, 3-year hardware warranty, and a 1-year no questions asked warranty on your tires. I'll talk about that here in a little bit. Now, 8'2" long nose on this guy. So again, if you think about that, so we're 14.5 foot on the floor. We have that 8'2" nose. I mean, again, you want to talk about getting a trailer in and out about most places. This guy is it. You're really not going to be much more, larger than even a 2-horse bumper pull in this instance, especially when we put the actual gooseneck coupler into the bed of the truck. Speaking of that, you're going to get a B&W coupler. We've got a lot of flexibility with how we can set this trailer up, especially with this coupler. This is a lower profile handle that allows us to have an extra hole drilled into it. So maybe if you have a truck that maybe is lifted a little bit or something along those lines where we need to actually go ahead and adjust this, because we want equal weight distribution, so trailer running level, but bed clearance. So we have that with this B&W. Underneath the gooseneck, manual crank jack, nothing too crazy right here. Spare tires elevated. There's a reason for that. If you ever decided I want to upgrade to a hydraulic jack, it's a larger footprint than this manual. So that would have to be elevated. So we went ahead and just took care of that already. The other thing you're gonna get is this framework. So if, again, you wanna add that hydraulic and you wanna do an aluminum battery box, the framework's already there. We've already taken care of these 2 pieces for you. So it's gonna save you money mainly, and a lot of time when it comes to actually installing this. So 8'2" long nose, but here's the other thing. This gooseneck drop wall is 53 inches. Standard is 50. Little history lesson. Back in the early 2000s, gooseneck drop wall standard height was 47. What happened? All the truck manufacturers changed their body styles. Trucks got taller. They adjusted to 50. We actually go in and set a lot of these using trailers from Cimarron to a 53-inch gooseneck drop wall height because the trucks are taller. And then in that instance where I said maybe you have a lifted truck, we have that flexibility to adjust that coupler and then set the trailer height where we need it. Now, this is an RTG package, so the ready-to-go package from Cimarron. What you're gonna get is this 42-inch wide door. That is a big, massive door with a lot of framework to it. Welded hinges with grease zerks. I'll show you some of those as we work through the trailer itself. Around the door, you're gonna get a brush tray, so great catch-all. Smaller miscellaneous items, hoof picks, fly sprays, brushes, a little bit of everything. If you wanted to add more brush trays to this trailer, you could do a door organizer. We kind of left it that way. That way you can kind of determine which direction you go. If that setup's adequate, you're set and ready. Fold up step. On a lot of our, well, I should say all of our inventory, when we put a front tack room on something, maybe even like a closet tack, trainer tack, easy tack, all the different setups out there, we like to go ahead and put this fold up step. It makes a big difference transitioning in and out of this tack room for carrying items out. It makes it really easy by having that fold up step. Now your 42-inch wide door comes into play with this, your swing out saddle rack. The reasoning why is, one is we have this mechanism that swings in and out. We're gonna have saddles hanging on this, draped on it, right? So a lot of the competitors run a 36-inch wide door. So imagine cutting 6 inches off this gap right here. Now look up here at our blanket bars. That's even closer. I mean, you're basically right at that door frame. So we don't want saddles and other items dragging on this door frame going in and out. And you also have the capability to move in and out of the trailer with this swung out or in. So you get the 2 blanket bars and 2 saddle racks. The nice thing is these are all adjustable. So I can loosen these guys up, I can slide them where I want, I can change sequence. If I want to add a 3rd saddle rack, maybe another blanket bar, whatever you want, you can do that on this post. It's right there. You just loosen the nut, slide it where you want, tighten it up. So really easy to operate and set up how you want. But then you've got that capability to have everything outside. And then again, as you come in, saddle racks even swung in, we've got some room to move. You can have rubber on the floor. I'm not a fan of carpet on the floor just because it'll hold stains and odors over time. On the gooseneck drop wall, you're gonna have a boot box, a 12-inch boot box. That is carpeted, not as big of a deal there. I'm not as worried about it. You know, you're just, every once in a while you might hop up, use it as a step to jump up into the gooseneck, but you know, it's not the floor that you're constantly walking on. But this is great storage for you. Again, will work as a step to hop up into the gooseneck area, or a bench if you just need to hang out and you're showing off the trailer, or just, you know, doing something, working off the trailer itself in general. You need to take a seat, you can do that. On the gooseneck drop and deck, there's that carpet. Then you have 2 windows. So you have a window in the gooseneck on each side. So if you wanted to throw a mattress, bedroll, sleeping bags, you've got a cross breeze, and you can also see out, which is really nice. We talked about the spare tire and then framework for the battery box. Same thing up here. It is framed for an air conditioner or manual crank camper style vent, or a 12 volt, you know, camper vent. Now you'd have to add 12 volt if you want to go the air conditioning route. You'd have to add the whole power package. But again, by having that framework already there, it's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of just money when it comes to actually installing that, because it's already done. On the short wall, this is a 2.5 foot short wall. You're going to have this shelf. It's an 18-inch deep with a 2-inch lip shelf. Great storage up here. These are so handy to have. You don't realize how much, you know, storage this trailer actually has till you start walking in it and you see the boot box, you see the brush tray, you see this shelf up here. It's also got a clothes rod underneath it. So if you're traveling, garment bags, hanging clothes that are not taking up space in the back of the truck. But again, maybe you're showing off of this where you need to hop in, change into a show shirt. It's right here, it's out of the way, it's got somewhere for it to actually, you know, be organized and a place for those items to live. So it's nice to have that guy there as well for you. On the partition wall, you're going to have a row of bridle hooks. Those are aluminum powder coated, so there's a really stout, really strong. You got the carpet behind it, so as tack is moving while you drive, it's not on this like aluminum skin creating a mark in it. We see it all the time. A little quarter moon is what it does. So one, it's scuffing up the wall, but then also what's it doing to, you know, bits and head stalls, those type of items. It's also a lot quieter for the horses, where it's not actually rubbing like metal to metal contact or those type of items. It's going to deaden that noise for them. The last piece is you're going to have a 25-gallon water tank. It's a corner water tank. It's tucked behind that saddle rack. That's kind of wasted space, so we went ahead and opted for that. Those are so handy to have because you fill at the top, empty at the bottom. You're going to get a hose with it. Get yourself a ball valve. You just connect it to that, fill your buckets up right outside the tack room. You're not having to pack buckets from a hydrant that's a long distance away, or even trying to go and find them. Traveling in the summer months, it's nice to have water on board. Maybe you have a horse that only likes water from home, so you can carry that with them. You are going to have an OptiBrite light as right above the door as we leave the tack room itself. It's nice to have the light in here. That OptiBrite is a clear lens. It's big. It puts out a ton of light. Not a big power draw at all on that guy, but boy, do you have a lot of light on this trailer, and those OptiBrite lights put off a ton in there in that tack room. Again, fold up step, very easy to operate, flips out of the way. White sheeting on this guy. So white sheeting is standard. If you wanted to go with like a charcoal metallic, silver metallic, black, Caribou's a new color that matches the Caribou Ford. It's that brown. It's got metallic in it as well. You can do some custom colors, but in this instance here, we just opted for the white sheeting. Lights, once again, 16-inch awning light, kind of splitting this, you know, the axles there. So if we have a couple horses tied right here, you know, you have plenty of light coverage. It shoots down and out, so it will kind of get over there to that tack room as well for you. You have 2 bus windows on the hip wall. Nice big bus windows too. Airflow is key. Those guys there on a bus window, only half of it opens, so that slider. So by having the larger windows on there, it makes a big difference when it comes to actual airflow. Couple tie rings, and then it's going to finish off with their extrusion. Below that aluminum there where the horses are tied, it's going to stouten up the trailer to give a lot more strength. And then rather than that just white sheeting that can be, you know, dinged up a little bit easier. On the axles, you're going to have 2 5,200-pound Dexter rubber torsion axles with electric brakes. So your tow vehicle will have to have that integrated brake controller or an aftermarket. If you need help with those type of items, these add-ons, we can do that through our parts and service department. Jack, you know, a brake controller, hay rack, rear ramp, whatever you want. But this one here, you're going to get the 16-inch wheels. You're going to get a 10-ply Goodyear tire. Now, I mentioned the warranty. You have a 1-year, no questions asked warranty on these tires. That's from the date you purchase it. If you catch road debris, you have a blowout, you pick up a nail or a screw that punctures the sidewall of the tire that can't be patched, they'll send you a new tire, no questions asked, from that date you purchase it. The black rims with that silver accent, I think, ties in really well with the extrusion, the black framed windows themselves. So again, just ties in really well with the color package. We really like, and Cimarron changed to standard aluminum wheels a few years ago. It makes a big difference after these trailers are used for a little while versus the steel wheels that typically, you know, the paint starts to chip, you get that superficial rust, and honestly, they just don't look very good. Here at the back, since this is 6'10" wide, the standard width, you're going to get a 60/40 door setup. So a little bit narrower door over here on the left, larger door on the right, a little bit wider. So again, if you're just wanting to open one door, load and unloading, you know, that larger door is on the right hand side for you. You see the kick mats on the back doors. There's a window on that door on the right hand side, so that helps once again with air movement throughout the trailer. You're going to get an 8-inch awning light at the back, so once again, light back there. And then as we get into the stall area, you see the butt strap that goes across rather than a butt bar. That's a large opening. There's no rear tack on this guy, so you're going to get the strap. Now as you come in, this back stall is a little bit bigger. We put a little bit extra link to this trailer to accommodate so we don't have to put a telescoping divider on this guy. So as you can see, not only are you going to have the ability to get this guy against the wall and it stays solid, and then we can shut our back doors. So again, it allows for that back stall to be a little bit bigger. You know, if you got a companion, you know, pony or something like that, they need to hop on this back corner, they can do that. But then you've got the stud divider as well. So standard, this would be just a typical partial, you know, solid divider, but we went ahead and said, hey, let's go ahead and just put the stud divider on it. Because in instances where maybe we need to separate somebody, you know, you got two head that you just need to kind of keep them a little bit more separated, you've got that capability. Maybe you just want to throw on one head and then throw some extra feed, bedding, those type of items up here in this front stall. You know, we don't have to necessarily worry about it getting underneath the horse as we're traveling, or you can flip it the other way. You know, you can stack some hay against that wall, some bedding over there. You know, go ahead and open this up if you got one head, and you know, it'll probably hit about there, but you can still get that horse on or off. Slam latch. Over here, it's a recessed paddle latch. So it's recessed in the wall, nothing protruding out. This is aluminum powder coated cast piece here. Heavy UHMW plastic paddle latch, so we don't have that metal to metal contact creating a lot of rattle and noise for the horses. We have to think about the horses first and foremost. Cimarron does a great job. You know, nothing protruding out. Radius is on everything. Let's try to keep it quieter for the horses while they're driving. Here's a good look at those bus windows from the inside. You've got some vertical jail bars protecting them. Again, the slider, and then right up above them, there's two of those big OptiBrite lights back here in the stall area. This is a 2-horse, so not a big stall. Two of those guys, you have more than enough light back here. So that is definitely a nice feature to have on the trailer itself. And then in these stalls, you're actually going to end up with D-rings, So if you wanted to add corner feeders, that could easily be done to this trailer. That part of it's already done. You know, this trailer's tipped towards passenger side, so the spring, you know, it's a heavier divider because it's a stud divider. But as you can see, it is trying to hang out over against that wall. We really level out the trailer and it'll pull over to that driver's side. So again, one-handed operation, leading the horse on. I don't have to hold the divider open. Lead them, tie them, walk them out, shut the divider. Safer for everybody, safer for you, safer for the horses. Coupled two-way roof vents, so again, airflow, really creating airflow in here with these bus windows. I'll show you the drop-down feed doors in a minute, and then you have that back window and that back door so you can create that vacuum out of here. The other thing is you're going to get an insulated roof. That's standard on every single Cimarron. Doesn't matter if it's this 2-horse, a bumper or pull version, a stock trailer, a big living quarters, they all have the same roof. It will take substantial hail, so it protects your investment. It's a 1/2 inch thick, reinforced honeycomb design. It takes 150 pounds per square foot, so I can walk on the roof and it won't dent it. But on the other side of it is it keeps it cooler. 20% cooler than aluminum sheeted roofs. That makes a massive difference in these summer months where it's really hot. I mean, we've seen massive temperature swings here the last week. We were pushing 100 last week. We're gonna get to it later in the week. But in the mornings it's cool and then it gets really hot. So we really like to show customers that come to the lot, take them to one brand with aluminum sheeted roof, take them to a Cimarron, you physically tell a difference. And it's all because of that roof. Again, that's standard on all of them. And then when you flip to the floor, you have rubber mats. But what's important is what's underneath there. And that's the industry's best floor. So it is a 12-inch extruded deck piece that locks in high and low, kind of like tongue and groove. So 2 points of contact, so it makes it, you know, a lot more rigid as far as that's concerned. But the centers, they run across the trailer the full length, and they're every 4 inches apart. So picture this, a horse standing on this floor, they're standing on one, if not 2 support beams wherever they're standing on the floor itself. Now on these back doors, and on that tack door I mentioned, the welded hinges with greasers. So these guys here, these hinges on these back doors are so strong that Cimarron has a picture of one of these doors open like this on a 3-horse gooseneck with a floor jack underneath it picking up the back of the trailer. It didn't tweak the door, it didn't tweak the hinges. So they are really strong and really stout. And again, they're easier to maintain. So if one of these starts getting a little stiff, you start hearing it sound like a goose, you can actually put grease to it and maintain it yourself. There's a brass ring kind of right there in the middle that you see, but it's connected to a rod that goes that full length of that actual hinge itself. Now, picture a candy cane, that swirl, that's a groove that's cut into this, that rod that goes the full length. So when I put grease on either end of this, start opening up and closing this, it's wanting to feed the grease throughout the entire hinge. There's a lot of other manufacturers that carry and offer a welded hinge, but not this capability to where you can go in and maintain it. So they get stiff. You're trying to get liquid, you know, some type of lubricant to them. You can't, you got to heat it up. I've seen people drill holes in them up here trying to get that lubricant in here. Cimarron, you can go in and maintain yourself. These tail lights, if you notice, there's a white X in the middle of all of them. And that is a backup light. So when we throw it in reverse, that backup light will come on. So when you get home really late at night, you pull into unfamiliar places, go to backup in the dark, you've got some light coverage back here as well. All these switches are right here in this back post. So the rear, the interior I showed you, the passenger side load light, and then over here on driver's side, that load light, they're on individual switches, so we can turn on whatever we want. But as you can see, there's the drop-down feed doors I was telling you about. Just like the tack door, just like the rear doors. Massive, massive doors, but also so much framework to them that these guys are gonna hold up. These are items you're gonna open and close every time, so we need them to hold up. So you have all that bracing, so they're really stout. You get the jail bar as well that drops down. Easy to fold up. It's on a track in there, so it's built in and really easy to operate. Same thing on these drop down feed doors, the welded hinges with grease certs. And then you've got bus windows within the actual drop down feed door. So if you need to close it up a little bit more, kind of limit a little bit more airflow, you can shut them and then open up your sliders. Tie rings out here on this side. So again, you can work off of either side of the trailer itself. So, I mean, how cool of a little 2-horse is that in a gooseneck? Again, really easy to maneuver. Again, can fit most little trucks out there. You know, some newer half tons. Again, you always have to check to see your towing capacity on them. But again, I feel like in today's world, a lot of the half tons will handle this. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you the stock number on this trailer. Again, it's a 2026 Cimarron Norstar 2-horse gooseneck. The stock number is 5N250435. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade or downsize, we can help you out with that. You know, maybe you got a bigger trailer, you just need to consolidate and get down to a smaller one. Maybe your bumper pull one to go into a gooseneck. We can do that for you. Financing is available and delivery is an option, so we could potentially bring this to your door. So give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.